What's happening, y'all? It's day 190 on the calendar, July 8th. It is Wednesday at the gas station here, getting ready to take off for Chicago land. And I want to get this to you guys before I get on the highway here, that in life, in business, any endeavor, ministry, even in your marriage, family, relationships, most people start out and they run hard. They run hard for the object, the goal in hand. They just run hard. They run hard. And I applaud you. I encourage you to run hard. Run hard as you can. Nevertheless, in life, in business, in ministry, whatever endeavor it is, fashion, music, you name it, artist, any kind of business endeavor, any kind of move towards goals, dreams, aspirations, you're going to encounter obstacles that come up on as you pursue. Not something that you see in the future. This is not something that is foreseeable. Okay, we're not talking about things that you see on the horizon. I'm talking about you're running hard, you're moving in the right direction, and up pops a obstacle. Up pops a roadblock. Up pops somebody, person, thing that gets in your way to the point where you have to stop. In basketball, we call it a jump stop. And here's the issue with the jump stop. In the jump stop, you plant both feet to the ground, and then you have to make a decision on which way you're going to pivot. So today's subject matter is the pivot. Day 190, July 8th, is the pivot. What is the pivot? The pivot is the focus point. If we were saying scientifically, I would use the word fulcrum, but it is the pivot point on which a lever or a person or a business turns. Okay? When you pivot, it is the place of turning. It is the place of making a decision. And you, as a person, are going to have to learn how to pivot. Okay? Because you're going to come up against obstacles. Let's make this very clear. Anytime you pursue something, somebody is going to get in the way. Why? Because that's what people do. Can't get upset, can't get angry, and this is why you jump stop. This is why you stop, because you don't want to hurt yourself. Okay? So you come to a stop. You come to a stop, but here's the key. The pivot is designed for you not to lose your forward progress and your goal progress. All right? So when you pivot, you got to go to the left or to the right. Okay? And the pivot point is the technical place that you determine the overall direction. Are you going to pivot to the right? You're going to pivot to the left? Because stopping is not an option. Okay? So the pivot is designed to continue for you to move forward. Don't let people, places, things pop up in your way and you stop. Too many people, listen, 80% of people, when faced with a roadblock or a wall or somebody's hatred or jealousy or envy, they stop. That's why they don't make it. 15% of the people, okay, pivot back and forth, but they don't make a decision. You got to learn how to make a decision. Okay? And 5% of the people pivot and move forward. What are you talking about, Earl? Let me give you an example. You got to pivot, and when you pivot, you make a fundamental change. Why? Because you're not going to let this obstacle, this person, take you out from where you want to go. Dreams, goals, aspirations. All right? And if you get wise, if you've been listening to this channel long enough, if you're a new subscriber, then you plan for the pivot. You plan for people's foolishness. You plan for ups and downs. Why? Because life is about adjusting to ups and downs. You gotta learn how to pivot. You gotta learn how to make a fundamental change as you move forward. Learn how to pivot. Don't get caught up in what people do. People are gonna always do what they do. Learn how to pivot. Learn how to change direction when obstacles come in your way. Don't go backward. Don't sit on your hiney. Move forward. Learn how to pivot so you don't get hurt. And by the way, don't get your emotions in it, okay? People do dumb stuff all the time. All right? People get and people do dumb stuff all the time. Why do you pivot? Sometimes you got to put together a new strategy. Why? Because sometimes people put all they can into stopping you moving forward in life. Some people don't like success, and so when they see someone else doing something that's beyond them, up pops a roadblock. They do dumb stuff, so don't just get over it, y'all. Sometimes you got to pivot by focusing on a whole new customer base, a whole new market trend. Sometimes you got to move from being horizontal to being vertical. And I'm using these as examples. Sometimes you got to pivot by changing your whole platform. Yes, a certain platform worked, but you know what? Up popped the roadblock. Now I got to pivot and move to a different platform. I'll give you another example. Maybe you have to move from software to an app. Because you know what? People are trying to keep hitting you on their phones, and you don't have an app, so now you got to move from a software platform. Now you got to move to an app. That's just an example. And here it is. The pivot is essentially a shift in mental, financial, sometimes emotional strategy to move your business, ministry, marriage, relationship, self, project forward. I'm leaving with this. Learning how to pivot is a fundamental concept that anybody who wants to have success in their life, and you define success, you must learn the methodology behind it. I'll say it again. You must learn the methodology behind the pivot. The pivot does not set you back. Letting the roadblock or the wall or somebody's hatred or jealousy, that's what sets you back. The pivot is simply a tool in your tool chest. All right? Learn how to pivot. God bless you. God keep you. Day 190 on the calendar, July 8th, gassing the car up, heading off back to Chicagoland. God bless you. God keep you. We'll catch you tomorrow. Peace.